Hotep Senu, Hena Senut, E.T., Ren E. Shakandugu Kemet. Hope you're doing well, brothers and sisters. Thank you for the thumbs up. We already have 5. Now, the title says, Show Some Love, Come Greet Us. And the thumbnail says, We want to hear from you. And indeed, I would really appreciate if the people who never called in before would just come and holler and say, What's up? Say hi. Just, show your appreciation, and you're free to say how you came across the channel, which video you like the most, which video you have seen, if you have only seen one, if you have seen a few, um, if someone recommended you to my account, feel free to tell us who it was. Sometimes we have discussions about history and languages, and it's kind of deep, it's kind of thorough. But this time really is the opportunity for all the people who don't really have any discourse that they want to engage in, but who just want to come and say what's up. It will be a good look, really. If you never called in before, well, now it's your opportunity. You don't even have to show your face, for whatever reason you have. So I'm sharing the calling link, and I don't think it's going to be a long one, because I have to work tomorrow. It's already 9 p.m. But I would love to talk to a few people. So sisters, don't be afraid. We don't have so many who call in on a regular basis. We have a few who are regular, but really, and even if you called before, it's fine. But particularly those who never called in, feel free to holler. You can even talk about your journey as someone who used to be Abrahamic and who is no longer Abrahamic. How you ended up no longer following other people's writing, because we, fair bit of us, know how we are trapped into some belief systems, and we are following the culture of other people, culture that our forefathers were not dealing with. We have Majai Commander who wrote Jumbo, Barigani. So really, come show some love. Definitely won't cost you anything. It's free of charge. Just come and show some love. Let me know what's good, really. Now, besides that, as usual, no matter what the title says, what people are free to bring up any issue that they want to talk about. Oh, Darius, it's been a little while. How you doing, brother? He wrote, Good to see you, Shaka. As always, thanks for such in-depth and informative work. I've been so busy with work and renovating my house that I haven't been able to get online much. It's good to hear from you. And his brother, he must be eating well, because when I first saw him, I thought he was younger than me. He's actually older than me, and I look young for my age. A lot of time people give me like 10 years less that I am. So it's good to hear from you, brother. Now, if you don't want to call in, brothers and sisters, leave the comments, and I can go through them. I can read them. It's a long journey. It's really a long journey. But over time, there will be some improvements, some progress. We have to connect as a people. So we have a few people scattered all over this planet. Like I said on the video Kemet and Ma'at, or Introduction to Kemet, as the original title says. Hey, baby girl. But yes, indeed, it's a long journey. It is a long journey. I know how it's like. I know what it's like. But you see, there's one thing that we cannot minimize. Most of our people are into a particular belief system because their parents were into it. It wasn't really a matter of choice. It was a matter of following a path. And we have so many people who talk about this religious writing as if it's something historical. So Darius wrote, thanks, Shaka. Lord, the gray hair are popping up. Hey, I was talking to a guy at the gym the other day. He's from Sudan. I asked him about the indigenous Sudanese religion, and he told me about Islam. But Jai Commander said, "Bless be to your wife. Well, blessed be to your wife and children, brother. Dua Asante." So it's quite amazing that still to this day we have so many people who kick the same rhetoric that they used to like 10 years ago and so on. I mean, I remember for those who are from that era, we had the message board, and now it's so much quicker. I mean, the live stream is so convenient. We save so much time. It's no longer an issue of text, but we can share the audio, the video, and besides the link and being able to speak directly. But a lot of debates used to be done typing, you see. And Radio One was talking about that, and it's true. There's a lot of things that people used to kick, and they cannot kick it anymore because they will never be able to be challenged on their statements, on their claims. Darius wrote, Islam was introduced to Sudan fairly recent, and it's sad to see people leave their indigenous ways for Abrahamic religion. Well, the Abrahamic belief system, they are the big guys on the block. They are the big guys on the block, particularly, well, I was going to say particularly in the West, but it's a worldwide phenomenon, really. But this is one of the reasons why I'm not down with fence riders because, I mean, sometimes I feel like talking and explaining what was happening, but we have some fence riders. It's incredible, and I had my share of fence riders in France and in America as well. A lot of people who used to talk that talk. We used to talk that black traditional talk, but they've been fence riding like crazy. You know, there's one time a situation was when it was almost like a circus. When one dude had like they tried to make it like he was under attack by the powers that be. His own organization didn't say jack about a minor thing, but it's all good. I don't really want to dwell about that. Um, but the worst to me is the people who are cool and associate themselves with people who just disrespect African Africans and traditional African ways. You know, we have some people who have consistently I'm sorry, disrespected the traditional African ways. And really, everybody's into like people say. People talk about freedom of speech. Everybody's entitled to their opinion and their way of life and so on. But my thing is this: if people don't have any respect for the traditional African ways, then uh, we should not give them the time of the day. I'm not saying we should attack them or disrespect them or anything like that, but we should just not give them the time of the day. You understand? So I'm not saying don't associate yourself. in any way whatsoever. We live in a world where we have to interact with people. But and that's one of the reasons why I have issues with Pan-Africanism. There was one goal when it comes to the Pan-Africanism, and it was the independence of these African nations, and that goal has been reached. Now, whether or not they are truly sovereign is another issue. But if we look at it, because a lot of people like to vilify, a lot of people like to vilify the traditional African ways. But and traditional Africans. But we could do some maths. We could do some mathematics about the Abrahamic believers and their actions too. You know, I mean, I don't want to sound like I have a huge problem with Abrahamic believers. I want people to understand that my problem is the fence riders, the people who claim to be traditional Africans and who just don't have any morals. Do you see Muslims being cool with people disrespecting Islam? Do you see Christians being cool with people disrespecting Christianity? Do you see Jews, Hebrews, Israelites being cool with people who disrespect Judaism? I don't see that. But I see so many people who claim to be Kemetic, who claim to be traditional African with different traditional African ways, and somehow, some way, it feels like they are under the obligation to be bootlicking. You understand? And I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Now, Radio One has made a donation. Thank you for those $5. I appreciate it via the super chat. And for those who don't know, there's the super chat and the super sticker. The donation can be made directly. Shh, imitated me on the YouTube page or the YouTube video. Actually, he wrote, "Peace, Shaka. Them stimulus checks are coming. Show this brother some support." Thank you. Dua. Now Darius wrote, "You ever feel like we have..." Non, 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 ça fait trop de bruit, Marie. Ça fait trop de bruit. Ça fait trop de bruit, ça fait trop de bruit. Trop de bruit. Non, non, c'est... Darius wrote, "You ever feel like we have to endure such marketing and promotion of Christianity, Christmas, Easter? There are so many holidays that inundate us with Abrahamic beliefs. I'd love to learn more about Kemetic holidays and holy days." Well, so far I've been dealing more with some basic vocabulary, but I go into much details with the classes. But there are a few festivals. There are a few festivals. But really, as a people, we could revive some things that used to be practiced by our ancestors, and that's if we want to. That's if we want to. But the thing is that it's not only coming from the powers that be, or but we have a lot of black people who celebrate Abrahamic holidays, like Hanukkah, for example. It's a Jewish holiday. I mean, I said Hanukkah. I mean Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is Hanukkah, just a black version of Hanukkah. See, people want to celebrate Kwanzaa. Hey, it's all good, but don't pass it up as a traditional African holiday, because it's not the case. See, that's just a thing. Understand? People want to be Abrahamic. Hey, suit yourself. Do whatever float your boat, but don't pass it off as some traditional African ways. Don't try to blacken these ancient people, these Semites, and so on. And that's what we've been doing for a long time, you know. And when I say we, I mean we as a people, of course. Wayne Vincent wrote, Ma'ad, have you heard of Naba Lamusa? No, I haven't heard about him. If you want to speak about him, then feel free. Feel free. Now, we know about those mega churches. One moment, please. So, we know about those mega churches. There's so much dough floating. And if people are prosperous, hey, good for them. Good for them. But I think we can build some. And I'm not saying that I want to build a mega church or a mega religious group. But when people, those churches, those groups or organizations, the reason why they are successful is thanks to the members who are committed. They are committed. The Jehovah's Witnesses, they are committed. I see them in the street. They share their literature. They try to reach people. And I'm not saying that we should go in the street and talk to people, talk to strangers, you know. But we can at least represent. And even if we don't represent, Heru, Henagere, we can represent every now and then. Now the game has changed. We can use the social media. We can use a social network. But we have to show support. And I'm not talking just financially, you see, but being there, showing up, you know, whenever you turn up, that's a good look, you know. And there are probably some people that you can talk to, and you never know. You might talk to five people, maybe one will be interested, and that one might reach another one or another two. You see? So besides the financial aspect, remember that your voice do matter. Your voice does matter. Your voice matters. You understand? So don't forget that, brothers and sisters. Don't forget that. We should not expect other people. We should not expect to be so numerous, and we should not expect anything from celebrities, from artists, entertainers. You know, I don't have anything against them, but they have their path, they have their ways, they have their lane. You see. Now, Majai Commander said they do spread their knowledge, and he wrote a debate for that purpose. So your voice really does matter. It does. We have some people who are comfortable saying in front of the world that Africans are living a jungle life, that Africans are not civilized, that black means death. So I guess when it comes to talking about our history, our glorious past, then we should be comfortable as well talking about it. You understand what I'm saying? And if you don't really know what to tell people, then you can at least direct them to my channel so we can talk. I don't know it all. You know how I get down, but I don't know. I say I don't know. You see, but I know a little some. So Jack Commander wrote, not for defeating people, but teaching people who follow the debate. And Majai Commander actually has joined us. Hotep, Sen, thanks for calling.
Hotep, brother.
Hotep, how are you? Oh, you're muted now. I don't know if you're trying to speak, but you're muted.
Yeah, I always have this weird thing going on, where I have to cut off the other stream in the third, so I don't get back and forth.
Hmm.
I was Shaka, I wanted to ask, man, what's the celebration for SAR um that happens every year? I'm thinking it's during the time of the winter solstice. Are you familiar?
Actually, I'm not. I'm not. I mean, I know about the said festival. I mean, that's the one that
Uh-huh.
I've heard coming up. That I've heard the most, or read uh, being mentioned the most. But besides that, I think there was some jubilees back then, but I wouldn't be able
Right.
to. Honestly, I'm not really too familiar with the celebrations out of Kemet.
Okay, understood. Yeah, I mean, I heard it in passing because I read a whole lot of stuff, man. Like I might have forgotten a whole lot of stuff, you know what I mean? But and it comes back up when I'm debating people. But yeah, I saw that in passing, and I was wondering if you knew anything about it.
Mhm. But there are a lot of things that are said about Kemet, and it's actually from late period. And usually, I don't pay too much attention to the late period because well, if I say our ancestors, some people would take issues with that. But the traditional indigenous Africans, they um, they were no longer ruling. See, so
Right.
but and you see, actually, you asked me about something, and I don't know, I'm not familiar, so I said it outright. And I want my people, please, brothers and sisters, try to really check things before you repeat them, because there's this issue about um, Horus, having
Mhm.
12 disciples like Jesus, being born on December 25th,
Oh
like
no.
Jesus, and please don't just repeat things like that, because it's a bad look for us. We have to be sharp. We have to be crisp. In our lifetime, we will make mistakes. I've made mistakes, but when we outright come and make those claims, it's just not a good look. As a matter of fact, there was there was a dude who made a challenge, and he challenged some of our well-known scholars, and nobody stood up to the plate because that dude knew that those claims were not correct. You see?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that they charge. They charge the Kemet that, as far as Christianity is concerned, they try to make the parallels, and some of them are off. You know what I mean? That's
Mm.
Yeah, it is a bad thing.
Yeah, there are some similarities in some cases of what appears to be plagiarism, but
Mhm.
sometimes
Yeah,
it is a bit exaggerated. They try to tie too much, but I
I
mean, I
mean,
guess
because
we
you
have.
have
Yes, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I was like, well, the thing is, you have the the very foundation and the basics. Like, I mean, the word Christ itself. You know what I mean? Like that should be enough. Off the top. I mean, if you're looking at as far as KRST, where it is, I mean, I've found it on Tombs. That should be enough. And what it
Well,
means and what it stands for should be enough.
mm, well, what does it mean?
Christ, as in the Christ or the Christ. You mean
From the
like
glyph,
for
from the in Middle Nature, yes.
to stand the sarcophagus up or the sahu up upright,
Yeah,
to be
yes.
the anointed one. You know what I mean? To be anointed, to stand it straight up. And I think there's a different word for lying down.
Now,
Uh, go ahead.
that definition. I mean, the sarcophagus. Yeah, I agree. But the other definitions you gave, where do those definitions come from?
This was, I think, I want to say it's during the preparation of the sahu.
No, I mean, who actually gave those definitions? Like,
Oh,
mm.
There's several sources. I don't remember right offhand.
But
That's one of those things I have to refer to my notes.
was it like from a video, or was it an Egyptologist, or was it like some of the black scholars?
Oh no, it was way before. Like it was like during some of like some historical writings.
No,
Um
okay,
let me see.
because
I was gonna
I
say
doubt.
Budge, but it's not Budge. It's
Mm,
somebody else. And it may be Budge.
oh, mm,
Um and
w-
a few other scholars from back in the
mm,
day.
mm.
Wasn't
No,
any of us because I don't use our stuff as much because of course I battle a lot of Europeans. They like to shoot that down. So me personally, I bring the weapons that was forged by them. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
I understand. I
Yeah.
understand.
Mhm.
Well, if he's Budge, I mean, he. I don't know if I should say he's one of the
Yeah.
pioneers, but he kind of made some shortcuts, some shortcuts every now and then. But
Yeah. Yeah. He did.
it will be more cautious to use more recent sources. But
Bud,
anointed
Gerald
one for
Massey.
Karesin from Kemet, I really doubt that. I really doubt that. But if anybody knows about that, then please, by all means, let me know which scholar gave that definition. You see, but
Right.
this is something that I've heard people say in America and in France, and they talked about the Karesk from the glyph from the
Uh huh.
Medu. But
Yeah.
I would like to see once again a dictionary or an Egyptologist basically showing us that definition.
Right.
Like I've heard someone say New Ankh. They got Noah's Ark from New Ankh.
Nuance. Yeah.
But sounds good, but I don't think it's
Well,
hmm.
was it not was it not Khufu's boat?
Khufu's boat. Yes.
Yeah. I
Well, New Ankh. I, I, I've not seen it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I have not seen New Ankh written
as
anywhere
far as
or
like
translated
yeah.
anywhere. And besides that, even if we have a text where New Ankh is written, how do we go from New Ankh to Noah's Ark? You see, I'm pretty sure that linguists will not agree. This is basically well, it's okay. I will leave it there because I don't want people to feel like I'm throwing shots. But
No, I mean I'll go.
mm,
I'll say as far as Noah's Ark, the story of the Pharaoh on the Nile, along with his magician and the ladies rowing the boat, that story exists, where
mhm.
she dropped her necklace. What was it?
And
Her necklace or
I think it's
bracelet? In in
Paris. Yes.
yeah, in the Nile, right?
Mm.
And of course, the magician, he asked what was wrong with her, why
Mm.
she was sad, and the third, and he had the magician retrieve her necklace or a bracelet, and he parts the waters, gives her a
Yes.
bracelet back. Everybody's happy. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of flood stories though, you know, or whatever the case is. There's a lot of them. So it's like it's not one thing specifically to Noah's Ark per se,
Mm.
you know.
I was
So
looking for that story. The name I forgot if it's the Iper Papyrus, but I don't have the
mm,
video anymore. I might have the video on some of my archive, but there is indeed a story, like our brother said, where
yeah,
the water was parted so that the jewelry could be
hmm,
retrieved.
exactly.
But that's very far away from Noah or Noah's Ark, or I mean, it's something that that's like a similarity, but
Yeah.
we cannot just claim
The
plagiarism.
only
Mm.
but here's the thing about it though. A lot of that stuff that's in the book is backdated. So let's just, I mean, you have to keep in
I'm sorry,
reference.
come again, brother. What did you say? Because it was breaking
It's
up.
okay. A lot of the stuff that's in the book, they're backdated. Okay, in Christianity, they're
Mm,
backdated. So
yeah.
it's like there are a lot of things that happened during the time of Kemet and Cush that are in the book. Okay, say for instance, let's say the Confessions, the 42. Okay, which of course we know it's more of them than that, but let's take the 42. Okay, now you have the Ten Commandments taken from which there were more than 10 commandments, from my understanding. Okay, when he comes down from the mountain, he throws the stone on Heteru, and you know what I mean, and this and the third, so that there were more commandments, right? So we already know that that existed thousands of years beforehand. One more thing. Now, Moses and his brother, I want to say, was it Moses and his brother? They were wanted by the Pharaoh, correct? You
Well, according
familiar?
to the Bible, I'm not sure if they were wanted by the Pharaoh. Do you mean,
Okay, one was a thief, one was a murderer. Moses murdered one of the Pharaoh's soldiers. Am I correct? And then
yes,
one was
but
a thief.
I don't recall Aaron being wanted, but I don't know the Bible by heart, so.
Right,
But
right. I
yes,
mean, no, just it's
hmm
just a small point. The point
hmm
was, if one is wanted for murder and the other one is wanted for thievery, then wouldn't that mean that there were laws already in place?
hmm
You see what I'm saying? So that's a weird thing. So therefore, one more thing. So in the book it says that God hardened the Pharaoh's
Pharaoh's
heart,
art.
where he was talking about. I'm like, okay, hold on, man. Okay, this is a game, right? So he's here to talk to the Pharaoh to be free. Okay, so you would think that God would be on this man's side and
Mm,
then help him with the Nesubiti. So he, okay, well, now you talking to him and he hardens the Pharaoh's heart. Like, okay, that's a problem.
mm,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's a straight problem. So what kind of game are you playing here?
Mm.
You see? Radio One, what's happening, man?
Oh yes, peace,
Oh,
brother. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Yes, can hear you, brother. Hotep, son.
Oh yes, Hotep, Hotep. Yes, I'm doing good. Yeah, peace to you, brothers. Good to be in the house. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, peace to you, brother, Magi Commander as well. Um, yeah,
Indeed.
um,
If
I
I'm wrong,
mean,
correct me. I'm saying. I'm,
yeah. I mean, yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I'm just now tuning in. So, yeah, so I wouldn't. Yeah, because I was taking care of something. Yeah, I'm just.
facts.
Yeah, I knew you guys were talking about the Noah's flood story and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, but yeah, like history. I mean, it needs to be it needs to be retold. I mean, because like history in all forms, has been so distorted and so lied about. I mean, even the history of the Bible. I mean, our elders who came before us, you know, they some of them really exaggerated, you know, history, you know,
Of course. Of course.
yeah, man. So it's like, in the younger generation, they're still trying to hold on to those beliefs and those teachings, but
Uh-oh.
yeah, but it is it's up to us to correct them, just like the brother Afro-Asiatic, he loves to refer to the book Wonderful Ethiopians of the Kushite Empire, written by Drusilla Dungy Houston, but and
I love
I
that
read,
book as well. I'm not gonna lie about that.
yeah, but I read the book, and I had my problems with it, because she tries to make it seem like, like everyone around the world was Cushites, but there was only one Cush, and that Cush was south of Egypt. I mean,
Well,
historically, Cush south of Egypt was the only Cush. So I mean, but she tried to make it seem like, Cush was Persia, Cush was Syria. I mean, Cush was all of Asia. It's just, I mean, just a complete exaggeration. And I mean, and it's like, in another exaggeration is about Ethiopia. People say, well, Ethiopia was the entire world, or the whole coast of the ocean from the sunrise to the sunset. And that's an exaggeration. Truth be told,
Well,
I did my studies on Ethiopia, and the truth has not been told about it. Ethiopia, that tradition of Ethiopia,
mhm,
Ethiopia, where it mentions in Homer's the Iliad of Zeus going to visit the Ethiopians and feasting with the Ethiopians. That is a
uh-huh.
tradition. Yeah, that is a tradition that originated in Egypt, and people don't know that. That Homer got that from Egypt, and I just want to but brother Shock, do you mind if I share my screen right quick?
Of
I
course
just want
not.
to
Go
show
ahead,
something.
brother. Go
Oh
ahead.
yes, I'm going to be very brief on this. Okay, now I want to show you something because you know this is it's gotta be told. Okay, this truth gotta be told. Now, do you see that?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yes.
that is from Homer Iliad. Okay, Homer Iliad, book 2. Okay, 386, and go down here to 420, and here it says Homer the Iliad, book 2, 420. For Zeus went yesterday to Oceanus, to the blameless
Mhm.
Ethiopians for a feast, and all the gods followed with him. But on the 12th day, he will come back again to Olympus. Now, this is Homer. This is the first mention of Ethiopia. Okay, now you have the pseudo historians who try to say, oh, well, Ethiopia was mentioned way before. No. When we deal with the word Ethiopia, I'm not talking about Kush. Okay, I'm not talking about any other word. I'm talking about Ethiopia, and this is the earliest mention for Ethiopia. It's by Homer, and now it says, for Zeus went yesterday to Oceanus, to the blameless Ethiopians for a feast. Now let's go to um, the records of ancient Egypt. Okay, and
Mhm.
we're going to see. Okay, and I'm going to blow that up. Okay, and I'm going to show you where it originated from. Okay, so this is from the records of ancient Egypt, volume 2, the 18th dynasty, and uh, and this is from the inscription, the building inscription of Amenhotep III. Okay, and it says here. Okay, and it's called the Sacred Barge of Amen. And it says here in quote, line 888. Uh, page 359, line 888, Ancient Records of Egypt, volume 2. And it says in quote, King of Upper and Lower Egypt, Nib Mare, part of Re, son of Re, Amenhotep III, ruler of Thebes. I made another monument for him who begot me, Amen Re, lord of Thebes, who established me upon his throne, making for him a great barge for the beginning of the river. Now I'm going to skip
Mhm.
down here, okay? I'm going to skip down, and it says here, okay, flagstaffs are set up before it, wrought with electrum. Two great obelisks are between them. It is beautiful everywhere. The gods of P make jubilee to it. The gods of Nekhen praise it. The two now gods of the south and the north, they embrace its beauty. Its boughs make noon to shine as when the sun rises in heaven to make his beautiful voyage at his feast of Apet on his western voyage of a million years. So it's saying here now, this is This is a similar account to what Homer said when it says, okay, when as when the sun rises in heaven to make his beautiful voyage at his feast of Apet on his western voyage of 1,000,000 years. So it's talking about the sun as it rises in heaven and is going towards the west, towards the sunset, and to feast, and they call it the feast of the Apet on his western voyage. And so it's saying, so pretty much to speak in literal terms, it's saying that the ancient Egyptians saw the land towards the sunset, where the land where the sunset is. They saw the sun going towards the sunset to feast with the people towards the sunset. You know, that is where the tradition originates from. And we know that that Homer says Zeus went yesterday to the Ethiopians to feast. Now we know that Zeus is is one and the same as the god Amun of the Egyptians, and we know that Amun is also associated with Ra. So Zeus is really the sun. So it's talking about the sun. And here's another just so you get an understanding. Let me see. Yeah, here's another account. Okay, and this is from the building inscription of Amenhotep III. Okay, and it's on the western pylon. Okay, and it says here. Okay, Amen. I'm gonna skip down here, and it says, Amen has received his divine Barku, a place of rest for the Lord of the gods at his feast of the valley on the western voyage of Amen to behold the western gods, in order that he may endow his majesty with satisfying life. So it's saying here again, speaking of the god Amen or Amun Ra, you know, the god Amen has received his divine Barku, a place of rest for the Lord of the gods at his feast of the valley on the western voyage of Amen to behold the western gods. So this is referring to the feast of the valley, which was a feast or a festival that took place in ancient Egypt every year. And what the ancient Egyptians did was they made a boat of Amen and they made it sail across the Nile to the west bank of the Nile, and where the tombs of the dead are, you know, and they called it, they say where gods, and they saw it, you know, and they saw this as the god Amen going to feast, you know, with the Westerners or the gods of the West or the spirits of the dead kings on the west bank of the Nile. So it's like we have one account saying that, you know, speaking of a Barku or a boat of Amen sailing across the Nile to go feast with the Westerners. That's what it's saying. And you have another account, as I showed before. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to it again. Yeah, another account saying, you know, when the sun rises in heaven to make his beautiful voyage at his feast of Apet on his western voyage of 1,000,000 years. So this is a show where Homer got this tradition from. This is a tradition that originated in Egypt. So when he says that Zeus, okay, Zeus, let's go back to that. Says for Zeus went yesterday to Oceanus to the blameless Ethiopians for a feast, and the gods follow with him. So that is where the tradition originated from. Okay, Zeus is really Amen or Amun Ra. Really Ra, the sun, Amun Ra, because Amun is also associated with the sun, Amun Ra. And they saw the sun as journeying across the continent of Africa to go feast with the Westerners, and they also call it the Feast of Apet. You know, as I told in the quote, you know, debate when it says to make his, you know, his beautiful voyage at his Feast of Apet, you know, on his western voyage. So that is where the tradition
You're breaking up a bit, brother.
Hold on, radio. You're breaking up.
Can you just go back like 5 to 10 seconds because we could barely hear you for a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me now? Hello.
Mhm.
Yes, brother.
Yeah. But this is just to show that to make a long story short, Zeus. When Homer mentions Zeus, it is in reference to the god Amun Re, the sun. And when he speaks of Oceanus, it is talking about the ocean of the Atlantic Ocean to the west of Egypt. And they saw the sun going over the continent to the Atlantic Ocean, and that is the land where they saw as the land of the Ethiopians, where and they saw that the god they saw the sun god, going to the west or going towards the sunset to feast with these Ethiopians, and that is where the tradition originated from, and that's what people have to understand. It has nothing to do with with the ocean or surrounding the world and all. It originated in Egypt, and I'm going to stop sharing that. And but that is just to show, where it originated from. It was a tradition, you know, held by the Egyptians. The Egyptians who saw the sun going over the continent and going to the western land, because and they saw it, they also saw it as a place of rest for the god Amun, and I'm gonna I want to share the screen one more time. Okay, and I want to show this right quick as well. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, and look at this. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yep.
that is the sunset on the west bank
Mm-hmm.
of the Nile. Yeah, that is in Luxor, Egypt. Okay, and that is the
Mm-hmm.
sun. That is the sun going down. Okay, and as you can see, it is on the side of the river. Okay, and that's that is just that gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. You know, um, as the ancient Egyptians, they saw that the land towards the sunset, that is the land as they saw as the god Amun, this is the sun, going to feast with the people there. But it was it's all tradition. you know um if you go west of Egypt, you're going to end up, and you keep going 3,000 miles, till there's no more land, you're going to end up in West Africa. You're not going to, you're not going to end up in an actual place where the sun sets, which is under the
Of
earth.
course, that's like chasing
Yeah,
a rainbow. Yeah.
yeah. But you see here, it's talking about the sunset. Now that sun, when you look at it, it may look very close to a lot of people. Like it looks real close when you're looking at it. But try following that sun and see if you can get close to it. And and you're never gonna get close to it because it's actually very far. It's like it's going under the earth. It's past the continent, going under the earth. And but the farthest place for the sunset is under the earth, but the farthest west, or the farthest sunset for Egypt, is West Africa. If you keep going west of Egypt, and you try to follow the sun, and you're going to end up on the west coast of Africa, on the Atlantic, and you're not going to be able to go further than that, unless you cross the Atlantic Ocean and try to reach America. But that's this is the origin of geography. This is real geography here. And and this sun, it may looks close, it may look like it's 1 mile away from you, but it's actually very far. And if you try to follow it, you're not going to end up, you're not going to get close to it, because it's very far. And and I actually heard people say that, when the ancient Egyptians talk about the sunset, they talking about the west bank of the Nile. So, and I tell them, well, unless you can prove to me that the sun sits on the west bank of the Nile, which makes no sense. because I mean, if the sun was actually to sit on the west bank of the Nile, it would probably destroy the whole continent of Africa. But yeah, but that's but you can see what it's saying when it speaks of Ra, okay, or the sun god Ra. It is talking about the actual sun. Okay, it's talking about the sun that goes over Egypt every day, and that's what people have to realize. So when it says the land of the sunset, it's talking about the sunset going over the continent of Africa, and this is what the ancient Egyptians saw right here. This is the origin story or for the Ethiopians mentioned in Homer. The ancient Egyptians were in Egypt and they saw the sun going across the continent, and the people who live the farthest west towards the sunset, those people they saw as the Ethiopians or the Amenti, and they were also they also sent a colony into that region as well. But and that's who the Ethiopians are, and I also have an account on who the Ethiopians were. Okay, and I'm going to share that as well, and I'm going to be very brief. But yeah, and this is what people have to understand. Like, okay, when it speaks of Oceanus, it's talking about the Atlantic Ocean. The Egyptians seeing the sun going towards the Atlantic Ocean and feasting with the Ethiopians. The Ethiopians are the people that's living on the coast of West Africa. Those are only people that can be identified in that passage. You can't have it any other way. So but I'm going to share this right quick, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Okay, now this is from Herodotus. Okay, Herodotus, book 2, chapter 29. Okay, and it says here in quote. Okay, yeah. So yes, I'm going to start from here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to start from here. Okay, right here. It says, book 2, chapter 29. You come to a great city called Meroe or Meroe, which is said to be the capital of all Ethiopia. The people of the place worship no other gods but Zeus and Dionysus. These they greatly honor, and they have a place of divination sacred to Zeus. They send out armies whenever and wherever this god through his oracle commands them. So this is pretty much telling us who the Ethiopians were. They were soldiers who were sent out on the command of the god Amen. And if you know anything about history, that has 18th dynasty written all over it. If you know the history of Egypt in the 18th dynasty, this is total 18th dynasty, because that the 18th dynasty, that is what their record is all about. Sending out armies and conquering the world on the command of Amen. And it says no other gods but Zeus and Dionysus. Now Zeus is Amen, and Dionysus is the Greek version of Osiris. And it says these they greatly honor, and they have a place of divination sacred to Zeus. Now, when it speaks of this place of divination sacred to Zeus, it is that place, that temple was actually in Waset in Thebes, where they send out armies, on the command of Amen. We have to keep it historical, and when we look at the historical aspect, that temple, that oracle that commanded, these armies to be sent out and conquer the world was in Thebes, and later we found one in Napata in Sudan as well, and also in the Siwa oases, and this is and I believe that this is telling how the Ethiopians got to the places they were, West Africa, Sudan, in that area. But the original Ethiopians, we know were the founders of Egypt. They originated in Sudan, and they founded Egypt as well. But this is talking about the conquest, the empire of the Ethiopians, which originated in southern Egypt. Because if you know the history of southern Egypt, from the reign of Ahmose I to Amenhotep III, they conquered the world on the command of Amen. And this has 18th dynasty written all over it. So so that's but I'm going to stop sharing that. But that is the truth when it comes to the Ethiopians. Okay, now you hear a lot of fantasies and opinions and theory on the Ethiopians, such as the myth that Ethiopian means burnt face. That is a lie. Okay, that is a lie that was made up in order to make it seem, as if the Ethiopians were not really black, but they were burnt face Caucasians, or they were Caucasians burnt by the sun. That's the only reason why that lie was made up. But this is the truth about the Ethiopians, and this is just a sample of what I'm going to teach on my upcoming videos. Because I'm definitely going to go in on this subject. I have a whole lot more where this come from, and I'm putting it in order, and I'm gonna put all the sources together, and teach the truth. And it's gonna probably be a 2 maybe 3 hour long video. And I'm also thinking about writing a book about it. So, but yeah, it definitely needs to be told. And because what has been said, 100 years ago, 50 years ago is, complete exaggeration. Our history has been exaggerated, and people fail to get off into the origins and etymologies of these things, and they just make up their own story, and they lie to the people, and it is my duty to tell the truth, and that's what I wanted to show. The Ethiopia, this term Ethiopia, or this tradition of the god Zeus or Amun going to visit the Ethiopians was a tradition that originated in Waset in southern Egypt, and they saw the sun as Zeus or Amun going, traveling over the earth to go feast with the people in the West, and that's where Homer got this from. And I read it from Amenhotep the third, which Homer is dated to 800 BCE. Amenhotep III lived somewhere in 1400 BC. So Amenhotep III predates Homer by 600, 700, 800 years, somewhere in that category. But he predates Homer by hundreds of years. And we see where this story originated from. It originated in Egypt, and it found its way to Greece, because the legends of Greece, they speak of ancient Egyptians coming into Greece and finding civilization as well, with the story of the Donans or Adonis, which was said to be an ancient Egyptian who came to Greece and civilized the Greeks and showed them civilization. So a lot of these Greek stories, and gods originated in Egypt, and even Herodotus says that. So a lot of these stories originated in Egypt, and that and that's what you have to understand. And I just showed and proved where the story of Zeus and the Ethiopians originated from. It originated in Egypt, and it's associated with the feast of Apet, and that's what I was saying last time. The feast of Ethiopia, when you look at it, when you break it up, when you take the vowels out, and you break the word up into Ethiop, or Etiop, it sounds a lot like the land of Apet, and that's why it sounds. It probably has its origins from that, the land of Apet, and by the time Herodotus got on the scene, the people known as the Ethiopians were south of Egypt, and why is this south of Egypt and west of Kush, and why is this? Maybe it was due to a migration, but we know that is the land. It is referring to the African continent. From the African continent, it goes from east to west. It's almost 4,000 miles from east to west. And some people try to say no, this is not the African continent. This is talking about the Nile River only. It goes from north to south, but we know that's not true. You know, according to the Greeks, Ethiopia was from east to west. You know, it was the vast continent of Africa. That's what it was. You know, the story originated in Egypt. You know, and they saw the land of Ethiopia as all the land towards the sunset. You know that is 3,000 miles of land. That is 3,000 miles of land, and that is where it originated from. So this ideal that, you know, Ethiopia is the whole world, and Asia, you know, and the ocean, the whole world that sits in the ocean. No, that's an exaggeration. You know, that is an exaggeration. Black people, black Africans, it's time to stop sharing our history with others. You know, we got to stop sharing our history. You know, if these other races, if they had nothing to do with it, they had nothing to do with it. You know, that is the problem. That is one of the main reasons why we're down and why we're on the bottom, because we don't want to uplift ourselves. We don't want the truth to come out, and we want to share our history, share our land, you know, share everything with all these people that can't stand our guts, you know, and that hate us because of our black skin and because of our greatness, you know, and that's why it is important for the truth to come out. You know, we should tell the truth, you know, and people who have nothing to do with our history, you know, we should keep them out, because that's the truth, you know, and you know, and it is what it is. You know, you have brothers in these religions trying to associate, you know, and ally with you know, with all these other Asiatic groups, and they try to put Ethiopia in them. Say, yeah, Ethiopia is an Asiatic Ethiopian, so that's an African and Asian alliance. No, it's not. Okay, Ethiopia has nothing to do with Asia. As I just showed, it originated in Egypt. Okay, and Asia has nothing to do with it. And when you read Homer, as I stated on my video, Homer knew nothing about India or the east of Asia, because Homer, during his time, all that was known was within the Mediterranean. You know, the Greeks could not sail the Red Sea, and that's the only way to reach India and that part of the world. It was to sail the Red Sea. But the Suez Canal blocked the Greeks from using the Red Sea, so they only used the Mediterranean. So when it talks about Ethiopia, it's talking about Ethiopia south of Egypt and south of Libya, south of all of Africa. That's what it's talking about. You know, so you know, and that's why we got to stop sharing our history. You know, we got to stop doing that.
I don't know where I can start here. Okay. Now, you do know that that Elam had a connection to Egypt and trade. Like, they did have a connection. Yeah, Elam, had a connection with Egypt and trade. I don't know if it was a part of the Silk Road, but I mean, I think it is though. But see, this is the thing. Since we don't have like a concrete topic for me to like have all my documentation out, I really, you know what I mean? I can only just go off things that I can remember off the top of the head. But as far as Kush stretching to India, I do think there is a connection though, Radio One. You feel it? Because even the worship, some of the worship of the gods, the priesthood, a lot of those things are pretty much in line with the connection with Kush.
Yeah, I used to believe that. You know,
I mean, there's no actual, like, I haven't seen anybody debunk it though. You know what I mean? Seriously,
yeah,
like I haven't seen anybody debunk it.
Yeah, I mean, because you know, mostly everybody is associated with some type of religion. You know, so of course they not, you know, they're not going to make an attempt to debunk it.
No, I don't. I mean, if you were like to talk about Indo-Kush, I don't know, bro. Because honestly, I haven't seen anybody debunk that yet. We were talking about Ganges and things of that nature. I haven't seen anybody debunk that as far as that about the General Ganges and the third. So I haven't, and like I said, I don't have my notes in front of me, so therefore I really can't argue the point. But what I can say is when it comes down to Ethiopia, it's a play on words, bro. Like if somebody debates you as far as like Ethiopia and the whole of Africa being Ethiopia, like I can pull up a map right now that says Ethiopia is here, Sudan is here in the west. I mean, it's all about those the labeling of the continent at the time by basically Europeans. And you really, unless you like really dig to get the actual names like Yam and Wawet and so on and so forth, then you're going to be stuck with what you see on a map, 14th century, 15, 17, 18th century maps. And that's all you really have. So that's what a lot of people go on and stuff. Now, I want to say this about Amen real quick. Amen, all of this stuff, that just means the hidden one, but Ray is the sun itself. So it's the power manifest, okay, manifested from Amen, from my understanding. If I'm wrong, someone correct me. But that is that's what that's about right there. You know what I mean? Because you have the hidden one, Amen, Amenet, things of that nature. That's the hidden one, where Ra is the manifestation of the power of Amen.
Yeah, and brothers, I propose that we continue this discussion because, like I was saying at the start, wasn't planning it for it to be a long one, and I apologize because I apologize because I think it shows how tired I am, but been doing a lot of live streams almost every day this week, and it's taking a toll on me. So, but I want to thank you, both of you, Magi Commander and Radio One, for calling in. It's always a good look. I don't know why, but I thought many people will come today because I proposed to people to just, come and greet and show some love. But it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. So I would really conclude and remember, brothers and sisters, we all have a voice, and we might as well use it. And it's very important. It can make a difference. I'm not going to say, I'm not claiming that it's going to change the world overnight, but what matters the most is progress. Even if it's a very, very, very small progress, it's better than stagnating, and it's better than going backwards. So,
also, Brother Shockey, I just want to respond to Magi Commander right quick. I'm just saying, like, we have to stop sharing our history with these people because they're these Middle Eastern people, these people from India. They have their hate towards Africans. But when we look at it in a historical reality, okay, we know that the Persians, the Assyrians, the Indians, those people, they did not worship the god Amun Ra. Only the Africans worship the god. They even call the part west of Africa, they called it the land of Amun, Libya. And we know this. When you look at it in a historical reality, these people that they never worship Amun. The Assyrians worship the god Ashur. The Persians worship the god Ahura Mazda. The Indians worship Vishnu and Buddha and those gods, which has nothing to do with the god Amun Ra. So I'm not going to start.
Because I gotta go to bed.
Well, we can definitely talk about it. It's okay if we don't share the same opinion, and I'm pretty sure you both will have the opportunity to dwell on that. It's completely fine. It's completely fine. So, brothers, once again, I want to thank you. I want to say dua, and to everybody, stay safe, stay healthy. And if I'm allowed to by the Necheru, I will definitely have it back at you. Hotel,
bro.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Medu Nature classes And here, that's the flyer. Okay. So those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Netia class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Netia lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Netia, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the Meta Netia, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.